Good late afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sage and you're watching 𝐊𝐴𝐿 TV live from Sydney. And this is the last show of the day, the last trade. There's no better way to wind down the day than with today's market close commentary. So in today's show, we'll take a look at the overall ASX 200's performance of the day, and we will also explore the gainers and the losers. We'll also take a look at the details of the companies that were in the news today, like BHP Group, Pilbara Minerals, Strike Energy, and much more. I'll also share the trending updates from the Asian markets in the last segment, along with a special report on cryptocurrencies. So let's dive straight in. And the Australian shares ended lower on Wednesday, snapping a two-session gaining streak as the weak global cues and concerns about the economic impact of COVID-19's pandemic weighed on the market sentiments. The sell-off in blue chips, miners and energy stocks also dragged the market lower. And the benchmark index, the ASX 200, ended 0.27% lower. Earlier today, the index opened lower and declined as much as 0.7% to hit an intraday low of 7,379 points. The market width indicating the overall strength was negative as 7 of 11 sectors settled in the negative terrain, and the energy sector was the worst performer with a 2.1% loss. It was followed by the utilities sector, which dropped 1.5%. And among others, materials, industrials, consumer staples and consumer discretionary also closed in the red. And meanwhile, the AREIT sector was the biggest gainer, closing 1.3% higher. It was followed by healthcare, information technology, which also rose over 1%. And snapping the three-session gaining streak, the energy sector emerged as a top laggard today as investors took some breath after the recent rally. AGL Energy was the worst performer in the sector, followed by Beach Energy, Santos, Woodside Petroleum and Oil Search, among others. The materials sector also witnessed selling pressure, ending a two-session gain amid continued falls in the iron ore prices. And the price of iron ore fell further by 1.8% a tonne after new steel curbs in China. As per the report, China's southwest Yunnan province has asked local producers to restrict output on steel, aluminium and other materials. And the index heavyweights BHP Group, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals Group closed lower. In the banking space, 3 of the 4 major lenders, ANZ Bank, Commonwealth Bank and NAB, ended lower. Westpac, however, settled marginally higher. And let's now take a look at the top gainers and losers of the day. The energy company AGL Energy topped the losers chart by falling 7.1%. And some of the other worst performers were professional services business Worley, oil producer Beach Energy, asset management firm Janus Henderson and the bookmaker PointsBet Holdings. On the flip side, lithium miner Pilbara Minerals emerged as the top gainer by rising 8.9%. Some of the other notable gainers were agribusiness firm Elders, consumer discretionary firm G8 Education as well. And now it's time for a small break, but stay tuned on 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐿 TV for more trending market updates.
Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
Where the property market is headed next.
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter.
Be on top of the latest news and announcements
With 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐿 TV.
Hello and welcome back. Sage here. You're watching the market closing commentary on 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐿 TV. Let's shift our lens now to the stocks that the investors had their attention focused on. And first up, shares of the blue chip miner BHP Group dropped over 3% in line with the other mining stocks due to the fall in the iron ore price. And the company, in an exchange filing, said this afternoon that it will be hosting an investor and analyst briefing today on the Janus project. The company said it aired by building shafts for its first potash mine that were bigger than required. It has spent close to $3 billion over the past 8 years at the Janus project in Saskatchewan, Canada. And last month it announced to spend another $5.7 billion over the next 6 years to complete the first phase of the mine. Next up, shares of Silver Lake Resources rose marginally after the gold miner provided its outlook to the 2024 financial year. The miner expects to report sales growth between 255 to 275,000 ounces per year, driven by low-cost, high-margin deflector region. It also forecasted a strong free cash flow profile as the deflector region accelerates underground development in the financial year 2022, which reduces in financial year 23 and financial year 24. And let's move on to the next. Shares of Pilbara Minerals jumped as much as 11.9% to hit a 52-week high of $2.53 Australian on Wednesday. And the stock price rallied after the miner disclosed the result of its second lithium spodumene concentrate digital auction. In an ASX announcement last night, the company said it intended to accept the highest bid of $2,240 per dry metric tonne for its intended 8,000 dry metric tonne cargo. And this is equivalent to a price of around $2,500 per dry metric tonne on a pro rata lithium basis, inclusive of freight costs. Also making the news, shares of Unity Group declined 4% in the intraday trade after the telecom services provider said that its executive director Vaughan Bowen will continue his role. The company issued this statement in response to a media allegation against Bowen in connection with an insider trading of shares in telecommunications company Vocus Group in June of 2019. The company said that Bowen emphatically denied the charges. It further stated that its board does not intend to make any changes to Bowen's role until the outcome of this matter has been determined. And the next update comes in from Hotel Property Investments, whose shares nosedived nearly 6%, despite reporting completion of a $50 million Australian dollar placement. The real estate giant informed its shareholder this morning that it completed placement of $50 million Australian dollars announced on Tuesday. And the company will issue 14.7 million new securities at an issue price of $3.40 Australian per security. The placement drew robust demand from the current HPI security holders, along with the new investors. The company will use proceeds to partially fund the proposed acquisitions of Edwards Lake Hotel and a lease harmonisation program and the associated transaction cost of these. And the share price of Strike Energy rose as much as 3% after the oil and gas explorer issued a business update. The company provided an update on Project Harbour regarding its proposed 1.4 million tonnes per annum urea development in Geraldton of Western Australia. And the company has collaborated with energy companies ATCO and Infinite Blue Energy for proposed green hydrogen supply to Project Harbour. And once operational, the project has the potential to be Australia's largest industrial hydrogen consumer and potential carbon sink. And let's move on to the next. Shares of Western Australian iron ore producer Phoenix Resources rallied 10% in the intraday on robust annual earnings. The company has reported a net profit after tax of 49 million Australian dollars for the year ended 30th June 2021. It had cash worth 69 million Australian dollars, while cash flow from operations was 65.3 million Australian dollars. The board of the company also declared a fully franked final dividend of 5.25 cents per share. And now it's time for another small break, but stay tuned on 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV for the Asian market performance and the latest updates in the cryptocurrency space.
Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
Where the property market is headed next.
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter
Be on top of the latest news and announcements.
with 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV.
Hello and welcome back. This is Sage. You are watching the market closing commentary on 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV. And moving on to the next segment, let us look east towards the Asian markets performance. And shares in the Asia-Pacific region were trading mostly lower today, following negative cues from Wall Street, which ended lower in the overnight trade. The investors also reacted to the weak Chinese economic data, which reignites concerns about slowing global growth. Hong Kong's Hang Seng was the worst performer in the region market by falling nearly 1%. It was followed by the Straits Times in Singapore, which dropped 0.6%. And in a similar trend, Japanese market Nikkei 225 slipped over 0.5%, while Taiwan's weighted index fell 0.3%. Indonesia's Jakarta Composite also traded lower by 0.2%. Bucking the trend, China's Shanghai Composite was trading 0.3% higher, despite reporting a weak slew of macro data. And while retail sales grew at the slowest pace since August 2020, industrial production also increased at a tepid pace last month. The economic data showed that businesses were impacted by localised lockdowns following the resurgence of COVID-19's pandemic restrictions, raising concerns about slowing economic growth. And South Korea's KOSPI extended the rally for the second day and rose 0.35%, while Thailand's SET Composite rose 0.2%. And India's BSE Sensex also gained 0.4% in the opening deals. Meanwhile, Wall Street ended lower in the overnight trade on Tuesday on concerns over potential corporate tax hikes. The US stock witnessed broad-based sell-offs despite signs of easing inflation. The data released by the Labor Department showed that the Consumer Price Index rose at a slower pace of 0.1% last month, triggering fresh concerns about when the Federal Reserve will start tapering its asset purchases. And the Dow Jones dropped 0.85%, the S&P 500 fell 0.6% and the Nasdaq tumbled 0.4%. And now in this last segment of the show, let's have a quick look over the crypto market's performance. And the price of the major cryptocurrencies were flashing in green on Wednesday as investors reacted positively to the US consumer price data for August. The slower than expected rise in the US inflation created uncertainty about the timing of the Federal Reserve's bond tapering. And barring Cardano and Solana, 8 of the top 10 cryptos were trading higher. The price of Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market cap, was trading up over 4%. And the most popular currency has gained 1.3% in the last 1 week following a slew of negative news. Ether, the world's second largest crypto, traded higher by 3%, while it dropped over 1% in the last 7 days. And meanwhile, Cardano, the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, was marginally down, while Dogecoin's price rose 1.5%. Among others, Litecoin, XRP, Stellar, Tether, Uniswap and Binance Coin were all also trading higher. And thanks for joining us on that market closing commentary. That's all for now in the last trade show. Stay safe and have a good evening. This is Sage signing off.